Welcome back, class. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to jump right in here today. We're in week 8, part 1. We're going to be doing some fraction stuff this week. We're going to be multiplying and dividing this week. Last week we did adding and subtracting. Now we're doing multiplying and dividing. And next week we'll tie it all together, and hopefully it makes sense to you. We'll do some decimals and some fractions and whatnot and tie them all together. But again, thanks for those who are actively participating in all these opportunities. Appreciate it. But again, let's jump right in and let's look at my iPad. So what you're looking at here, you are looking at the basic ideas of what we're doing this week. We are multiplying and dividing fractions. So we're going to learn the basic rules. So I'll kind of do one of each, and we'll kind of bounce back and forth, and we'll kind of jump from there. I think you can hear my dog in the background here. I'm going to have to pick her up. Hold on. There, Lucy. All right. There's Lucy. You can see her. There you go. There's Luce. All right. Stay over there. All right. So let's jump right in. We got 8 problems to go here. Okay, so the first one that we're doing here, we're going to be multiplying 2 fractions together. Now, I know one of them doesn't look like a fraction. Every whole number can be a fraction. So what we have here is we have 2/3, and we're going to multiply by the fraction 5/1. You can make any whole number a fraction. Now, to do this, multiplying is one of the easiest things. It's actually easier than adding and subtracting. You just multiply straight across. You don't have to make the same denominator. You don't have to do any of that. So it's a lot easier. So if I multiply straight across, I get 10/3. And it's technically the answer. Now, we can't leave it like that. So we can make this a mixed number. So you can figure out how many times can 3 go into 10. 3 can go into 10 perfectly 3 times, and there would be 1 left over to make it a perfect 10. Ooh, that can make it a perfect 10. So 3 can go into 10 3 times with 1 extra, add a 3. This is the base number, so this would stay on the bottom. But these are the same answers. So 3 1/3 is 3.3 repeating. 10 divided by 3 is 3.3 repeating. So that's the idea. All right, let's move on. Let's go to number 2. We're multiplying again. So we have 1/3 times 9/16. Now, there's a couple different ways. You could just multiply straight across. We can get 9 over, what is that, 48? If I multiply 3 times 16, that'd be the answer. If you want to simplify, before you start, you can simplify each of these numbers. Like you can simplify diagonally or up and down. Diagonally, 3 and 9s have 3's in common, so I can divide both by 3. Divide that by 3, get 1. Divide 9 by 3, get 3, because they both have numbers in common. And now you can go straight across. So I would get 3 on the top, and I'd get 16 on the bottom. These are the same fraction. They mean the same thing. I know they don't look like it. If you broke up, in terms of like graphics, and you looked at, like a grid of like, shaded blocks, they'd be the exact same shadings. So 3 out of 16 or 9 out of 48. Let's move on. I think the next one is division here. So what we have next, we have division. Now, we don't technically divide fractions. I know that seems a little odd. We don't. What we do is we change this division sign to multiplication, and the second fraction would flip over. That's the idea. The second fraction flips, and then you just multiply like normal. So I'd multiply straight across, and I would get I get 1 times 6, which is 6, and then I get a 2 on the bottom. Now, you could simplify that. 6 divided by 2 is a perfect 3. Now, how you could get that without, taking 6 divided by 2, you could have simplified. So, if I went back to the original problem, 1/2 times 6/1 after I flipped it. Again, it's always the second fraction flips over after you change to multiplication, because we don't divide fractions. What I would do here is I would simplify. The 2 and the 6 could simplify. I would divide them both by 2. And so what you get is you get 3 on the top and you get a 1 on the bottom, and that is the same number as 3. That's why they're working out to be the same number. But let's jump right into the next one. Another division problem. So I'm going to make this 3/1 divided by 1/4. Okay, so made them both fractions. Now what we do is we start by changing this to a multiplication sign, and the second fraction flips. It's always the second one. It's always the one after the division sign flips over. And then I go straight across. So I'm going to get 12/1, which is just the number 12, because any number over 1 is the number. Okay, we have a couple problems left over, 4 problems left over. Same thing as again, 2/3, we're going to divide by 5, so that's technically 5/1. I would flip that division sign to multiplication, the second fraction flips over. That's how it always works. Now I can do the problem. Again, you don't simplify diagonally unless it's in multiplication, or up and down in this case. But in my case, I'm just going to multiply straight across. So I'm going to get 2 over 15, and there's nothing to do there. That's just the answer. I can't divide them by anything like that. So 2 over 15. Let's go to the next one. We have 3. So 3 over 1. We're multiplying it by 2 over 9. So what we have here is, we could simplify this, but if I want to go straight across, get 6 over 9, that's fine. If you wanted to simplify, I could, divide these both by 3. So I'd get 2 over 3. That's the same thing as that. It's the same fraction. Because you simplify diagonally and then just multiply straight across, so you get 2 over 3. Or 6 over 9 if you want. They're the same fraction. Last one, or I guess we got 2 more here. 1/8, I'm going to change it to multiplication, 4 over 1. Go straight across, get 4 over 8. If you want to simplify, you could have done that in the very beginning. I could have divided both of these by 4 to get 2 on the bottom and a 1 up here. Multiply straight across, so we got 1 over 2, which is the same thing as 4 over 8. It's half of a pi, if you will. 4 over 8 versus 1/2. And the last one here, we have this. I can multiply straight across, get 2 over 10, or if you wanted to simplify these, divide these both by 2, I can get 1 over 5. It's the same fraction. These are the same answer. That's it. Next week, we're going to be kind of mixing decimals and whole numbers and mixed numbers and all that good stuff. That's kind of what we're doing next week. I know this week I kind of flew through that video, but again, these problems were meant to be kind of straightforward and kind of simple until next week, and we'll kind of look at adding, subtracting, and multiplying, dividing with whole numbers or mixed numbers or decimals. We'll kind of throw them all in there, and we'll kind of look at what we're doing, mix them all together. But again, thanks for all those who are actively participating. Hopefully you're safe and healthy and that you're taking care of each other, and I hope to see you guys real soon. Bye.